So the reason I decided to enter the Miss England competition is actually because I heard one too many times, you don't look like the kind of person who would be studying veterinary medicine, or you don't look like the kind of person who's going to be a vet. I didn't really understand what that meant. What does it look like to be someone studying veterinary medicine? What does it look like to be someone who's interested in STEM? And I heard that my whole life, the way you dress, it should portray the career that you want. And I was just so bored of it. There doesn't need to be one specific look for a career. You can embrace your femininity, and you can also be an avid scientist. I'm 2.5 years away from graduating as a doctor of veterinary medicine, and I wanted to show that I'm proud of the feminine side of myself, just like I'm proud of the side of me that's really into science and STEM. And if I can get this message across to just even one girl who sees that you can be everything you want to be, you can embrace that girly side, you can embrace that side that wants to dress in a specific way, and you can also embrace a side that is really interested in science. So yeah, I'm hoping to be the first veterinary medicine Miss England in history. So beyond the title and the crown, Miss England to me should be someone that represents a real person. It should be someone authentic. It shouldn't be a curated image of someone, but a real person stood in front of you that you can relate to. I grew up in a council house background. None of my family had ever gone to university, and I set the precedent by going to the Royal Veterinary College, which is actually the world's best school for veterinary medicine. To me, Miss England should be someone who represents real struggle and overcoming it, fighting for what you want to be. And for me, that was fighting to pursue the education I wanted. I want to show people like myself, who grew up in backgrounds like myself, that you can overcome your background, that your ambitions can be more powerful, and that your postcode or whatever it might be shouldn't be limiting the dreams that you achieve. I would like to use my platform to inspire people who similarly came from backgrounds like myself, backgrounds that usually people are told there is one strict path for you, whether that be from council health or other underprivileged backgrounds. They're told that you have only one choice in life, and I'm here to say that's not true. You can achieve whatever you want if you put your mind to it, and that's something I've worked really hard on trying to promote all over the Miss England competition. No matter where you came from, what's going on, you can achieve your dreams if you work hard enough. I think the most important value or lesson I live by would simply be you're only limited by yourself. You shouldn't take anything that anyone else says to limit you, because truly you are your own worst enemy. So if you commit to believing in yourself, you can achieve anything you want. And I hope that my education journey and my veterinary medicine journey is one that proves that. I think a specific challenge for me would be learning to embrace a side of myself that is incredibly girly. You're typically told that if you want to pursue science, if you want to be taken seriously in an industry such as veterinary medicine, you can't be proud of that side of yourself, that you have to suppress it and fit this exact mold of very professional, but without any individuality. And I think overcoming that has helped me become a much better vet. I can empathise with more people, I can show my true self, and typically people prefer that over some curated image that's not relatable at all. I think the biggest challenge has been accepting who I am, and also making something that's important out of that, being proud of who I am and using that to fuel my veterinary career. So that would be the most challenging thing to overcome, but clearly it's something that I'm very proud of now, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I think staying confident in a process like this is surprisingly easy, simply because all the other girls that are taking part in it are so lovely. When we're backstage, there isn't really a competitive vibe at all. Everyone's helping each other, we're all taking photos together, we're all together on a WhatsApp group chat. Everyone is really, really friendly. It truly is like the sisterhood that you imagine it would be. There is no real competitiveness behind the scenes, and I think that's a really nice way to stay grounded. Because you can rely on the other girls because they know exactly how you're feeling because they're going through it too. So I think that's the main way that I stay grounded, but also knowing that I'm being true to myself. I don't have to pretend to be someone else. It's quite easy to stay grounded because I'm just presenting my real self to everyone. I think the most rewarding part of the Miss England journey for me has been the people reaching out to me and saying that they relate to my story, or that they feel inspired by me, or even just reaching out to ask about veterinary medicine. It's been an amazing platform to get in touch with a bunch of people who are also wanting to pursue veterinary medicine, who haven't really seen other people who are able to give them advice, to give advice on how to get into it, to give advice on GCSEs or A-levels and the kind of things that they will need to get into veterinary medicine. I think it's made me a spokesperson for the community of people that want to get into veterinary medicine, and also the community that are interested in being both a scientific girl and also a feminine person. It's been the people that have reached out to me are the true inspiration behind it all, because it shows me that I am making a difference, even if it's just one person at a time. I think if I was to give advice to my younger self, it would be stop caring so much what everyone else thinks. I spent so long worried what everyone at high school or primary school thought about me. I mean, I was incredibly nerdy. I always knew I wanted to study veterinary medicine, so I've never been cool. I was always head down in a book, no matter what subject it was, chasing my A stars. So I think, and that took a toll on me, because it's typically, if you're nerdy, you're not popular, which is ridiculous. Everyone should be proud if you're working really hard. But to me, it was taking on all of that criticism and trying to find a way to actually be proud that, yeah, maybe it wasn't cool, but I was achieving these A stars, and to me, that's the most successful I ever could have been. So my advice would just be stop caring what everyone else thinks, because in reality, I've achieved my dreams, so what they were saying was useless anyway. And if any of you are in that situation, honestly, what people at 15, 16 say about you, the most boring thing on earth. They don't know anything about you. So be proud of who you are and chase those dreams, because it pays off in the end. I think to any young woman watching this, I would just say ignore the norms, ignore the stereotypes, and ignore what's expected of you. It's really, really easy to see these kind of set of rules of what women need to do, are supposed to do, should do, and limit yourself, and that's so unbelievably boring. You are your own person, be proud of that. I mean, I'm a tattooed veterinary medicine beauty queen. Like, the standard for women is boring. Do something different, be proud of yourself. No matter what that might be yourself, because I promise you that's far more interesting than any curated version of yourself you're ever going to find. Don't take on criticism from other people that is coming from a negative place. You know, obviously room for development and growth is always a good thing, but if people are just being mean, ignore them. They don't really have anything. I think the cause and issue that I'm most passionate about at the moment is the recent cuts to pupil premium and pupil funding. So for me, that was the funding that bought my textbooks, that got me transport to high school, and the recent government cuts to that are a huge issue. I mean, without that funding, I wouldn't have been able to partake in any extracurriculars. I would have really struggled to even get to my interviews. My interview for RVC was the first time I ever had to buy a suit and a fancy shirt, and without that funding, I don't know whether I would have been able to do that. So seeing that lifeline that was so necessary for myself being cut for other students is heartbreaking, and that's why initiatives like the Sutton Trust and other charities supporting underprivileged students trying to get through the education system are so close to my heart. I think we really need some more support for students who are going to struggle with funding getting to higher education. It has been the collaborations on my platform with initiatives like the Sutton Trust that I hope would show that I really am passionate about this. I fundraise about £400 for the Sutton Trust, and my whole Beauty with a Purpose project is all about charities such as that, which are basically just working to promote underprivileged students getting into higher education. If you've not been in that situation, there are different barriers that you can't really imagine until you're sat there. I mean, I had never really had to experience university life until I moved here myself. My family had never been, and I know a lot of other young people are in that same situation. Things like writing your personal statement, if you've not had anyone who's gone through that system, if you've not had anyone who's been in the higher education system, you are at a disadvantage. And I think showing my story, but also working with the charities that affected me and raising more awareness for them should hopefully be the way that I'm showing my initiative through my page. And I hope some of you have interacted with those charities, because the Sutton Trust does amazing things, as does a lot of the other charities that are very similar, like the 93% Club. So just, yeah, keep an eye out on what they're doing and get involved in anything, because every bit of support is a good bit. To any young woman watching this, I simply would just want to say, ignore what is expected of you to be, ignore the stereotypes, ignore the set of rules that seem to have been laid out for what a woman should be, because if you embrace who you are truly, that's the most interesting, most successful version of yourself. There is no specific way a woman should be, and I hope that I'm proof of that, and there's a lot of other women out there that are, you know, defying those norms, and that is what will make you an inspirational person. Show young people that it's cool to be yourself, no matter what that might be, no matter what that might look like, and embrace your natural self, because that's the person that everyone will want to meet when they meet you. I think in today's world, empowerment is all about kind of using yourself to make a good change to the world. I mean, there's plenty of ways you can get your voice out there, but if you're not using it for good, personally, I would question that. Simply because there is so much going on in the world right now that needs funds raised for it, awareness raised for it. There's so many people struggling, and if you can use just a little bit of your platform to raise some good, I think you are empowered and I think you're inspirational. When I think about what England means to me, I think of my childhood. I grew up in the city of Chichester, which in terms of England is a very small city. It's right on the seaside, and I would just say it was that sense of community that I grew up in. I mean, we knew a lot of people in the area, and I can't speak for all of England, I wish I could, but I haven't been to all of England. But in my area, it was that community sense that is what is representative to me of England. I wish everyone got to experience that. I know, unfortunately, I am privileged in a certain sense and not everyone gets to experience that terms of community, but I wish they did. And if the world was how I would like it, everyone would get to experience that love and community. I think in terms of being a role model, England definitely has some areas to improve on. I'm proud to be from here. I do love the country of England, but at the same time there are big issues that we need to address, and I think if I was to be completely honest, I couldn't sit here and say I think it's the perfect country to be a role model. At the same time, I don't think any country is perfect. If I wasn't to win Miss England, I like to think nothing would really change in terms of my plans of action. I still plan to promote, underprivileged students getting into higher education. I still plan to continue fundraising for Beauty with a Purpose, for my project. I still plan to continue using that project to drive initiatives because I've already reached a number of people, and if we think about what I've done in 4 months and I've reached over 1 million people, then think about the whole year what I can spend reaching people and how many people that will have an impact on. Obviously I would love to win Miss England and it would mean the world to me, and hopefully it would mean a lot to people that have resonated with my story. But if I don't win, I've still made it far. I'm still proud of where I've come to, and I still plan to make all these differences that I've spoken about, simply because if I want changes to be made, why should I rely on anyone else to do it? It's my job to do it. If I talk about all of this and I want these changes made, I should be the one driving it, and that's my plan.